And I'm here with wife's right here next to me with episode 36 of the Fun Football Podcast. I'm sorry about starting a few minutes late. We had some technical difficulties. I see 3 people on already. Thank you for joining. And she's going to say something in a second, I think. I'm going to start on a somber note. My aunt, my mic's here. I'm not gonna do it. My aunt, who was my like my mom, basically, passed away a little over a week ago, 8 days ago. And I probably wouldn't even be on here if my uncle, who's got her phone, has been on her Facebook. He's been liking the Fun Football Podcast videos, and she was a big fan of the show. She gave me a lot of feedback when it first started to help to make it better. And I don't think there's any way I'd be starting the show right now, this early, only a week after, if it wasn't for him. And the fact that I knew she loved it, and I've gotten a lot of feedback to keep the show going. And we hit over 1,000 views last week for the first time, and she would have been the first person I would have called, other than the wife right here will pop in a second. But she would have been the first one I would have called. So there's no replacing her, but I'm going to do this in honor of her. Thank you, Janae. I appreciate it. It's been really rough. We're going to get a truck box in.
I am causing the technical difficulties.
I'm trying to get a good position she can leave it in, and we can tap it.
Okay.
Thank you, Kelsey. I appreciate it, guys. It's been the hardest week, but I've got an awesome partner and awesome family, and we got to go to Arizona. We just picked up on a dime and went to Arizona, and got to see family and friends that are family out there, and that was really cool. She drove most of the way. We live near Dallas. We drove all the way to Phoenix and did that the night it happened last Thursday, and got there Friday afternoon. We were there less than 2 days, and drove back Sunday, and just trying to get through the week, really. But my aunt's favorite team was the Broncos. Sadly, they're not in the playoffs, but I miss her a lot, and I'm dedicating this episode to her, and I know she's listening. And I hope my uncle is too, and I'll text him later. So, yeah. Ready to talk football?
Yeah.
We talk football all the time, so I'm kind of happy she's on here. So I'm going to be paying way less attention to comments if they're not straight on there and fixing stuff, because she's always with you. My prayers, yeah, it never is easy. Okay, we got 9 people watching. Thank you to everybody for helping the show hit 1,000 for the first time.
Yeah.
The wife helped hit 100 followers on Facebook, which was cool. And
I'm the behind the scenes.
yeah, she's giving me the most feedback. Her and the aunt were probably, and my dad were like the 3 people I would talk to the most, and they helped. She's giving me a ton of feedback on the show. I bugged her with it a bunch.
Proud supporter of the Fun Football Podcast.
But I think what we're gonna do, a link to come up. What do you mean, Janae? I don't understand. A link to come up. I understand. I'm not sure what you mean. She is always with me, though. I agree. All right. The plan? We're gonna talk some Packers, but instead of just 3 Packers, we're gonna do the divisional round games, and we're gonna pick our conference championships. She's a huge 49ers fan. Wearing red. I couldn't. We actually watched the Packers game with friends. That was rough. We're gonna start right there. What'd you think of that game? That was a good game, huh?
It was a good game. I'm kind of sad that it was as close as it was, because
you didn't expect it to be.
I did not. I really, like I told him, I super expected it to be a blowout. But Green Bay hung in there way more than I thought they were going to. They looked like a totally different team that game. They were working together. The only disappointment was the kicker. The kicker was bad. They missed those points, and they needed them, because they probably could have had us. And I was really worried sitting there watching that game. I was worried. I was like, whoa, who's this team? It was crazy. Had he not missed that kick, it probably would have been a totally different ending, which kind of terrifies me. But I'm glad that they played such a good game, because now my 49ers get to go and have a chance. And it's hard because now I'm worried about the Lions, because I like both teams.
She does. She just doesn't really like Dak Prescott. Neither of us really do. Living near Texas, we hear all about it. But I got lucky because not only is she a pretty lady, she knows her football like a lot. We talked probably hours on the way back and watched the games. The kicker thing, they didn't score at the beginning of the game and they didn't score at the end.
Yeah, and not in one, really.
They burned them. Like, looking at the stats, like, they got that Aaron Jones, like, 55-yard run in the fourth quarter, and they didn't get any points on that drive.
Yeah.
And then that Love pick just killed them.
Yeah, into the sea of red for no reason. For no reason. He had so many other choices, but to throw into the massive sea of red.
That was so brutal.
It really, you could see the disappointment after the kicker missed his kick. You could see the disappointment in the whole team. They were really upset. Because that definitely could have changed the game.
But and Purdy had like 3 bad throws that we dropped. There was a gimme, like, pick
several gimmies.
And that was just brutal.
Just couldn't get the hands underneath.
I'm going to go to some comments really quick. Janae says facts. Chris says it's going to be a game between the Lions and 49ers.
It is going to be a great game.
We're going to preview all those after we go over these 4. I just really wanted to do an episode, and Bill wasn't free.
Picking Lions over the 49ers? Okay.
Ooh,
okay. And Baltimore. Right. For sure, Baltimore. Absolutely Baltimore.
Yeah.
This is their year.
Bring in the energy. I like it. McCaffrey, the Packers actually held him to under 100 yards in the game. I got the stats. Nobody really broke out except Kittle for the 49ers. I feel like the weather really helped us because it was so rainy.
It was.
Like, I think it hurt our passing game, but we didn't really have a great running game except for that huge long run. But I think it was helping us stay in the game, except for the fact we dropped so many picks.
Yeah.
Because Purdy played, to me, that Love pick wasn't really all on him. It was just a terrible one. But there was like 3 or 4 picks Purdy could have thrown. He had a rough day.
He did.
We didn't talk about it. He's come out this week and
we saw in the first quarter all the 49ers get off the field and change their cleats because they were slipping and sliding so much on that field. So I think that kind of gave them a little bit of a disadvantage too, which could very well help the Lions in this game coming up as well.
I gotta pull up the weather actually. I don't think it's supposed to be as rainy, which is good. You know what's funny is the Lions are so good at stopping the run and running the ball.
They are.
I wonder if super wet would favor them because that's their strength. Like, the problem is both teams are super good running the ball, and they both have good offensive lines. But the Lions' defensive line is just as good as San Fran's. So I wonder if it was super rainy and there's no passing, if the Lions, that would help them. But I don't know.
It could.
I'm not sure.
Someone says if Lions in Baltimore, they pick Baltimore to win.
Chris, Rob, hey, it's good to see you, man. Lions in Baltimore, he'd pick Baltimore. I would too. I think the Lions, if they win this game, I don't think they'd win the Super Bowl, but I'm kind of hoping they would do it.
Don't talk smack like that.
It's fun to do this with you. She thinks Ravens and 49ers. That's what I think, but we're going to get into our picks. The last laugh. Hey, you joined, man. Thank you. Met a lot of people this last week. I posted about Julie and stuff. So a lot of people sent their condolences. They were one of them. So that was cool. And Chris and Janae. So that was really cool. It was just a really gut punch way to lose, though, on that bad pick at the end, because he could have ran it for like 10 yards. Love could have.
He could have.
And they could have gotten field goal range.
That's what I said. There's so many other options that he could have done. I almost think he just felt the pressure and kind of just gave up and kind of maybe tried to pull a Hail Mary, but that was not the way to do it.
We had timeouts and we had time to not only get in field goal range, but we pulled a big play to try to get towards the end zone.
You're right.
If he'd ran, he would have gotten to midfield. I think what would have happened, no pick, I think we would have drove into field goal range and the guy would have missed another one. He's a rookie and he had a bad season. Like,
maybe.
I think they're going to keep.
Possibility.
Oh, they're still, yeah, they are. They're still talking about the Cowboys and Packers game. Oh, that's right. You're in Dallas. I forgot. Well, we have lots of thoughts on the Cowboys.
Let's not say all of our thoughts.
I will say this.
Our thoughts and prayers to Dallas Cowboys.
They shouldn't have kept McCarthy. That was a mistake.
Yeah.
And I don't think if they extend
that game, I was hoping would be more of a blowout because let's just say I have thoughts and opinions. But the Packers really played a very hard game. They kept Dak on his feet. They kept him confused. The first play, I remember just off my bat, he got a pick. He threw a pick, and you could see him mouthing "unbelievable" to the camera, and it just made my day because it was unbelievable that he would throw that and they would catch it, and it was hilarious. It proved that the Packers really did show up this year. They they beat the Cowboys. And everybody thought they were going to lose so bad, and
They
they
did.
beat the Cowboys. Good for them.
And I'm impressed because we were trying to think of how big of underdogs we were in that game. I think it was like 7.5 or 8, but I
Yeah.
don't think anybody expected us
No.
to come out here and just destroy them because
No.
we hung with San Fran. And I've heard a lot of people say San Fran didn't play their best game. And I'm
No.
like, I think that's true, but I also think it showed our potential for next year.
Mm-hmm.
And I worry about the Cowboys because here's the weird thing. We didn't really talk about this. They're bringing McCarthy back, the coach. And Jerry did this with Garrett before. He only has 1 year left. So it's not showing any confidence in him. And
No.
Dak has 1 year left. So they're going to come out here and make both these guys prove it for, like, what are they doing? So let's go Lions.
Yes.
Oh, Lauren popped in. Niners and Baltimore. I mean, that's the way I'm leaning too. I don't think the Chiefs.
Definitely Baltimore.
Right now, we're going to preview the games fully. What are your two teams right now? Do you think that are going?
It's so hard.
She loves the Lions.
I love the Lions.
She likes everybody but the Chiefs.
Yeah, as long as the Chiefs lose, I'm good with any other scenario that happens. But yeah, God, if I had to pick, maybe Lions and Ravens. As much as that kills me to say it. Just because the Lions have done such a great job this year.
Yeah, they have. They really have
done such an amazing job.
I'm so impressed with them that they've gotten this far.
And the coach is doing a great job too. That little skirmish with Cowboys, that was what it was, but the coach this year has done a great job, and I think he deserves to go. But I mean, if the 49ers go, then I wouldn't be mad either.
I think Debo practiced the last 2 days, this Debo Samuel for the 49ers, and he's so important to them. And if he plays, they're both teams are pretty healthy, actually. I just think the best 49ers shot, unless they play, I'll say this, if they play the way they did against Green Bay, I think Detroit can take them. Because I don't think they did play their best game.
Did you look up the weather? Did we happen to see what the weather was?
Yeah, let me pull it up.
Because if it's going to be the same, that might...
Oh, we should do a show called House Divided. I like that, Janae. That's funny. Yeah, okay, so let's pull up weather. I don't think it's supposed to be as rainy. 49ers. $70 degrees, unreasonably warm, glimpses of sun, weather, no wet, no rain. It's going to be perfect weather. Warm for San Fran this
Which might be different. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It might be a little bit different.
I'll say this, though. Goff has actually really impressed me. Like, not that they've beaten any, like, great teams. Tampa wasn't great. The Rams were good, though. But since that Thanksgiving game where he got destroyed and a couple of others after, like, when there's pressure, Purdy the lesser too. But Goff turns into a pumpkin. And this year, he's been handling it better the last few weeks. So I think he's going to come out and still have a good game. I just worry about Purdy unless he threw some bad passes last week, but the rain, I think, was a huge impact.
Yeah.
Unless he has a terrible day, I think the Lions' pass D isn't very good at all.
It has its days. It has its moments.
Like, they're 27 out of 32 teams against the pass. But it's been better recently. So it's kind of skewed because it has been better recently. I think the key for them is going to be getting pressure on Purdy. This is tough. Like,
yeah, I mean, they're going head to head.
Looking at both on offense, the only real weakness is the Lions' D isn't quite as good as the 49ers. Yeah. And I just think the 49ers ceiling is higher. Like, their absolute best is better than Detroit.
Yeah.
But if there's a coach that can get the Lions ready, the other thing is they had 2 home games. Now they go to San Fran. Is that going to help them? That Lions crowd was roaring. Yeah. We got to talk about that game. So Packers, awesome. I'm going to be doing an episode with Bill soon. Not tonight. He wanted to, but we're going to do an episode soon. And we're going to talk a bunch of Packers offseason stuff. But closing thoughts on them. I think they're going to be contenders next year.
I think so too.
They let the coordinator go. They brought in competition for the kicker.
For the kicker, yeah.
They brought in. They fired their strength and conditioning coach, and now they just got to make some small moves on the roster. And with how young they are, I think.
Yeah, and this is also like, let's not forget, this was a first year for Love.
Yes.
So let's not forget that this team is so new, playing together. They worked out some kinks, they had some rough times, but I think next year if they come back and they do the same or better, I think they could really be contenders. Unfortunately.
So. Do you think they can challenge San Fran and beat them next year? Do you think it'll be those two teams?
Well, let's not get too hasty.
Wait, let me say this.
Yes, I think they could, because that was scary. That was a scary game. So I do think they could.
Do you think they'll take Detroit next year if they get better? Because I could see that. I could see that. If they're seeing, well, I mean, they almost just took San Fran. If it was us and San Fran next year and our defense is a little better, then we've got a shot. I think that's what's going to come down to. Because that last drive, just Lauren hates Kansas City. She's in Arizona. Hubby says 49ers and Ravens. What burned us on the last drive is we couldn't slow down McCaffrey. They just were able to run it right down. Of course. And I was like,
tank.
I was like, just stop the one guy you need to stop.
Yeah, you got a tank there. I mean, that's hard to pushing me off the bed.
I know. I was gonna say.
That's a hard stop to make.
It is. And I'm impressed with how Detroit handled Tampa after that Rams game. But they handled Tampa. I mean,
I was really worried there. Detroit had me second guessing.
They only won by 8, but I mean, it never felt like the game was in serious doubt, though. Like, I always felt like Detroit was kind of in control. They only won by 8, but Goff played.
No, there were some times in there where we kind of were worried.
They scored 14.
What were they doing?
They got up by 2 scores, and then Tampa scored that last one.
Yeah.
And they're down 8 with like 5 minutes left. And Baker had a pretty good day. He had 3 TDs, 2 picks. Goff, though, isn't making any mistakes. He had 2 TDs, no interceptions. They had a solid running game. Their one running back played really well. The other one didn't. The Bucks didn't really run the ball much. And the Lions I'm really impressed. This is cool that they've done this.
They did.
Like, I don't remember the last time they won a playoff game, and now they've won 2 in the season.
Yeah, no, I have not heard anybody say, "Oh yeah, the Detroit Lions are going to be in the running for Super Bowl." No, I have not. Not at the beginning of the season. And then slowly everybody started getting on board. They're like, "Oh, maybe the Lions, they can keep up. They can actually go this year." And look at us now. Now we're here. And I think so many people are excited for this, especially with this coach.
Oh, I agree. Like, I love Dan Campbell. Like, on Frozen Tundra, they're not big fans of him. And, they're not big fans of Lions. And a lot of Packers fans feel that way. But if they were to make the Super Bowl, like, I almost want to pick them just because it'd be so cool to see the Lions in the Super Bowl.
It would.
But the other part of me is like, I want to see the 49ers do this because we almost beat them. And I want them to go all the way and win.
And the 49ers got really robbed last year.
They haven't won one. They've been so close. The 49ers so many times over the last 10 plus years now. They made 2 Super Bowls last year, like you said. Purdy's arm fell off, and we don't know what game that would have been. They might have beaten Philly.
They might have.
We didn't get a game.
They might have.
And now Philly's falling off, so it's...
I just don't understand how a 10-1 team...
I don't understand
just
how they kept their coach.
Absolutely disappeared.
I don't know how they kept them.
They weren't a competition at all this year, and that's really disappointing as an Eagles fan to just see them absolutely fall off from a 10-1 team.
To lose 1-6.
And go 1-6. Like, how do you do that and not say that it wasn't something to do with coaching?
So they fired the coordinator, but
I'm not saying Hurts is the best of the best, but how do you go from a 10-1 team to 1-6?
I agree.
It's just something's wrong there, whether it's team morale or, something happened and now they're not on the same page because the passes he was making, the decisions he was making, none of it made sense for a 10-1 team.
Yeah. Yeah. I just, unless you're saying Hurts is the problem, which I don't think he is. I don't know. The team stopped listening. Like
That's what I'm
something,
saying. I don't
like they
know
had problems on defense,
it's
but they had
all
they had too many players on offense that are too legit. Like they have Hurts, they've got a good running back, they've got one of the best receivers in football, and their tight end was hurt, but then he came back at the end of the season, and they still sucked. And they've got a good second receiver, and they've got a good offensive line, but that was starting to get beat up and pushed. Like not just Kelsey, but that whole offensive line started having problems. But they've got guys on the defensive line. They just have too much talent to do that poorly. It's got to be
so bad.
I know he just made the Super Bowl, but
that's what I said. I don't know if it's a combination of things. Like maybe it was a little bit of coaching. He made some bad plays. Yeah, maybe it was. Maybe it was a little bit of Hurts, a little too in his head. You know, there's no specific one thing that I could say, oh, this was terrible. It just something wasn't meshing. There was something wrong with the team, and I don't know what happened, but as soon as they got to that 10-1, they just declined so hard.
They did. And like, where are they going to go from here? Are they going to be good this next year? Like, do you think like they're going to make some tweaks on defense? Their linebackers sucked. Their secondary wasn't good. Are they going to Robert, I'm not going to throw the comment in only because I see it. The Eagles were overrated, but I've got students watching, so I see you though, and I appreciate you guys hopping on and everybody else for listening because this is and for her to be in here because I needed someone like just to help me get through this episode. So it's nice taking my mind off it, and we've talked a lot of football. I've just needed to do that. My aunt would talk football with me too, and it's cool having a wife who loves it too. She doesn't love the podcast, but she loves talking ball, and that's what this is.
I am a proud fun football podcast supporter. Thank you very much.
I just
get to hear about it every day, 24/7.
Billy, I worry, like if Kelsey does retire, like that to me shows that he doesn't believe in the team.
No.
And so it's weird. They lose to Tampa in the wild card, go to Super Bowl, almost win, and then lose to Tampa really bad in the wild card, and they got destroyed. NFL Outdated, I forgot it was on YouTube too. Happy you're here, man. The Bears, man, I'm gonna be talking a lot about that. They've got the number 1 pick from Carolina and the number 9 pick.
Yeah.
And I think that I think the end of the Packers division, if Kirk Cousins comes back, now I think Minnesota will be the low bar. But if Chicago makes the right moves, and you got Green Bay on the rise, and you got the Lions in the conference championship, that's probably going to be the division to beat next year.
It's going to be very tough.
Those 4 teams.
That's going to be very tough.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like, I worry. I don't know what's going to happen.
Your head got cut off.
Oh, yeah. I worry what's going to happen with Cousins and the whole Minnesota thing. I don't know. That's going to be another. Like, do they bring him back? I don't even know. Yeah, we're going to be doing off-season stuff soon. And I'm going to be doing a whole Packer preseason or off-season preview soon. But I don't know what I'm going to pick yet. We're going to get into our conference championship picks in a minute. I don't know what to pick with Detroit San Fran. I'm torn. Let's talk the rest of those last games last weekend. So Detroit, it was closer than I think it should have been. But Tampa, I don't think they just beat a bad team. I think they proved they're solid. Baker Mayfield, I think, is going to be their quarterback. He had 2 picks in that game, which sucked, but he had 350 yards.
Yeah, lots
in
of
Detroit,
yards.
And he kept
it showed he's not afraid to run the ball.
Darn it! Why are you so likable? I'm supposed to hate Packer fans. We're gonna do a show, man. You'll be like, darn it, I like him even more. Like,
he's not an.
I'm not the kind of fan who's gonna trash on other teams except for the Cowboys. That's it. Just them.
And they have it coming.
They have it coming because they tell me they're gonna win the Super Bowl every year. And
it's just a whole cycle. It's we them boys, and then it's we're actually gonna make it, and then they get there, and then they lose, and then it just starts the cycle all over again.
I agree. So this is somebody in Ishmael. I've known her for my whole life. Jason Kelsey is beat up. I agree. He looked hurt.
Yeah.
So, but that's what I'm wondering if he's going to retire.
Physically and emotionally. The fact that he was crying after that game really just shows like how much
he puts into this.
He puts into it. And like I think it really, really got to him this year. Yeah. That, again, a 10-1 team just fell off the map. That's really got a sting for somebody.
Especially because they made the Super Bowl last year and they were this close to beating KC.
Mm-hmm.
And they put up a fight and just to completely fall off this year. Like, nobody even by the time the playoffs started, nobody was picking Philly to go to the Super Bowl. Like, I didn't even think they were going to, like, I thought they may win one game. And I know they were missing Brown. That was, oh, man, they just rolled over. It was like Dallas. Okay, let's talk. So we're going to finish this Detroit, Tampa, and then we'll go into the other two, and then we'll do our picks. And I appreciate everybody for watching. I really, really like Laporta for the Lions. Him being back is huge. They got St. Brown, such an awesome name, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah.
He had almost 80 yards and a touchdown, but this rookie Gibbs, they're finally giving him the ball, and he lit it up. And I just like the fact that Goff, he got traded from Detroit, from the Rams, made a Super Bowl to Detroit, beats his old team and coach, and then wins another playoff game. Man, he's like a legend in Detroit already.
Yeah, he's doing a really great job for sure.
I wonder if they're going to commit to him long term.
And he's using his weapons while also maybe keeping them under the radar a little bit. Like, nobody expected that from Gibbs.
Not in the, honestly, like, he'd had some flashes in the season, but no, I would have expected the other guy to break out.
Exactly. So like he kind of snuck that one under the radar. Like, maybe they've been planning this and he's worked with him and like, hey, we're going to like have this secret weapon going into the playoffs that, kind of like with Casey, just for a second, with Casey, Mahomes is going to throw the ball to Kelsey. You just know it. You know it. So who are they going to target? Kelsey. So I think
that's hurt him because they haven't been able to. Because he's slowing down. He's been banged up.
And they know that he's depending on him so much, so they're targeting him. So I think that maybe Goff and the whole Lions team was like, hey, let's keep some secret weapons here and be able to be like, oh, okay, you think I'm going to throw it? Nah, out of the left field, we're going to give it to him. And he's going to go down the field for 74 yards. Like, and what?
They need somebody else. The Chiefs need somebody else. That rookie Rice has started to play good, but that's why I thought they'd lose to Buffalo, and Buffalo stupidly let Kelsey score. And I was like, we're going to get into that.
Buffalo got beat up in that game.
I was saving that one for last because she really wanted Casey to go down. But I feel like Buffalo, if they just schemed it right, they were hurt. The receivers were banged up. Their good receivers sucked. So Allen was kind of like by himself. And they kind of made it easy on the Chiefs because the Chiefs' D has been good.
Yeah.
I just thought Buffalo would finally.
But I think they could have gotten more on the scoring end, but they did. They got beat up. The whole team was beat up.
Their linebackers are beat up. Their defense is beat up. I feel bad for Allen. Like that Buffalo quarterback. He's 3-1 against Mahomes in the regular season, 0-3 now in the playoffs. And what's going to help him? That's another team. I'm like, if you believe in the quarterback like Philly, I think you've got to get the right coach. This was the whole argument I was making with the Chargers guy. He's had a terrible coach, and I do indict the quarterback a little bit because he's so great. Now he's got Harbaugh. So, that's going to, if he can't make this guy, then they're going to be, and we're going to get into that in a second, NFL. I want to talk about the Bucs. If Harbaugh can't make Herbert good, no one can.
No.
But it's not just making him good. The whole team should be better because Harbaugh just rises up teams and finally got his championship.
Yeah.
But
as he deserved.
One last thing on these two teams. Do you think both teams are going to lock in their quarterbacks long term? So you got Baker, who's been on a few teams now, wins a playoff game with Tampa, filling in for Tom Brady amicably. Honestly, he won a playoff game. Brady did last year. And then you got Goff with the Lions, and they're both about to be free agents.
You got to keep Goff. You've got to keep Goff. How could you not? Especially if he's about to go in and win against the 49ers. How do you not?
I think they're going to lock into Goff. I think they're going to ask him not to take a massive deal. And I think Baker just fits in with Tampa, and I think they're going to sign him. And I know you like the Giants. I don't think it's going to be like Daniel Jones because Baker, stats-wise, had a really good season. And it wasn't just stats. He looked like he fit in with the team. Like where Jones did last year, but a lot of it was with his legs, which I like. But he's not really a quarterback. Like, he's not the guy that's going to sit back there and he did against Minnesota, but he generally isn't going to throw 300 yards. And, he's got to do a lot with his legs.
No.
That's not Baker. He can do it. He was doing it with his arm this year.
Yeah.
So, I agree with you, though. I think the Lions are going to have to sign Goff.
I feel like, how could you not?
But especially against the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Even if they lose in the Super Bowl, if they make a Super Bowl, how are they not? Give me a skill a bunch. Okay. Sorry. All right. Okay. Well, we kind of got into it. The last one we didn't talk. It was a beatdown. Houston showed up for a half. You know what?
No, that game did have me worried in the first half.
The fact that
because they let them get ahead of it.
Goff has a great demeanor now too for this moment. Your wife needs to be your full time. She does. I told her, I was like, we should do like a little like 20-minute. Like I want to do a second episode every week that like do the pick 'em with Bill. And I think it'd be fun to do like another little mini one.
I'm not going to be a full time.
I will have her.
I hear about the podcast so much.
I'll talk her into it.
Like I said, I am a full supporter, but
you do know your stuff, dude.
I do actually watch these games. I really love the football games. I just the whole podcasting thing is.
What I'll do is I'll stop talking about it. I'll be like, hey, you want to hop on for 20 minutes? Little post game.
Get all of the football out.
Yeah, let's get it out on the air and let people just be entertained. I'm impressed Houston got this far. Like, they just were playing another team out of their league. That's
Houston did a great job in their playoff game.
The game before.
Yes. Well, yeah, no, definitely not against the Ravens, but
we watched that Cleveland one though. That was good.
We did. That was a great game because wasn't it pick after pick after pick?
He threw. Okay, so I'm trying to remember now because we've had some family stuff. Didn't he throw? He threw one pick. He threw a pick and then he threw a pick six, right?
Yes.
So and it was a back-to-back. Was it 2 pick sixes in a row?
I believe it was.
People do like if anybody in the comments remembers, did Flacco throw 2 pick sixes in a row? Or was it a pick and then a pick six? Because I'm actually I can pull it up. It's okay.
Yeah,
let's pull it up.
I feel like it was a back-to-back moment. It might not have been, but
that was a beat down. I'm gonna pull up the score. Hold on. I gotta know now because normally I just remember, but it's been a long week. Okay, let's look. So. Intercepted Flacco. Oh yeah, it was back to back in the third quarter.
82-yard touchdown was bad. That was so bad.
Before we turned it on, the second quarter, Houston was getting killed.
Yeah.
Well, not killed, but Cleveland was up on them 14-10, and Cleveland was up on them early. Yeah. And then Houston came down, scored. I don't think there was a pick in there. Houston scored again, and then 82-yard pick six.
82 yards. And we were watching and yelling and screaming, go, 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 because it was such an amazing play. That was so good. And then to turn around and sit there and do it again, like, oh my gosh, they had to have been steaming because really that blew the game. It was 38-14 at that point. That blew the game. There was no coming back from that, especially not in the third quarter.
And I said if Flacco's arm didn't fall off, and then it did. It fell off. I thought the Bucs were going for number 1 pick when they signed him. He proved to be legit again. Yeah, he's talking about Baker. I agree.
Mayfield, yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't know what the Browns are going to do. They've got that guy who had all the sexual assault things, who wasn't even playing good for them, and now Flacco's too old, and he just fell off. And I don't think they can go with him. Yeah. And they've signed the other guy to a long-term deal, so I don't know what they're going to do because they gave him a fully guaranteed deal after all that assault stuff and gave up a bunch of picks for him. So I'm like, I don't know where the Browns go because I don't think it's up even with that defense.
No, but I mean they showed out to get that far.
I think Houston's going to be like Green Bay. It's going to be on the rise next year.
Hope.
With that rookie coach and rookie quarterback and they had a defensive player that was awesome too.
I hope that Jacksonville and Houston
would
show up.
Do you think Lawrence is the guy? I gotta ask.
I thought so before this year, but the horrible 9-18.
They were hurt, and he missed his best receiver, and he was hurt. But it still should have made the playoffs.
Yeah,
he still should have done it.
So, this year, I thought going into it, I was all for the Jags. I was like, let's go. But then where did he go? Again, kind of like the Eagles. It was like, oh, you're doing so good. And then you fell off and you were making sloppy plays and not acting like a quarterback who got it done last year.
Yeah.
And
also, like, that's what I kind of hold against the Chargers guy. And since we're on the Jacksonville thing, he's the guy Herbert is the guy who blew they were up 27-0 to Jacksonville. Yeah. And I think it was 31-30 they lost the year before that. And I do hold it against him, even though it's not just a quarterback thing, it's a team game and it's coaching.
Yeah.
That's what I held against Herbert, and I got a lot of flack on Twitter for it. And I'm gonna, I think he's awesome. I think Lawrence.
But I think
Here's the thing, though, like
good coaching and a good quarterback, it could change, and especially because they have an amazing coach.
The Jaguars. Well, Houston. Both of them. Both of them do. I like Jacksonville's coach, even though he won a Super Bowl. He's had a weird career, but But Lawrence,
for that team, I think it fits.
So, like, teams will take quarterbacks number one or in the high picks, like Stroud. Obviously, awesome, unless he falls off. He was amazing this year. But there's teams that take quarterbacks one, and then they could be like a total bust or just okay, like Baker has been until this year, or awesome. And I'm starting to wonder if Lawrence is just in that okay area.
Maybe.
Not like the potential I saw from Love this year or Stroud in their first year shows me more promise than what I'm seeing from Lawrence right now. I'm starting to wonder. Like, it seems like, I don't know. I want to see this next year. This is going to be a really interesting year for him, especially because other than Stroud, he's in a weak division.
Hopefully.
That's the only guy that's there.
Well, I don't know. Houston's in there, right?
Houston is. He's right. Houston's going to be in there.
Yeah.
And they got Stroud, who was awesome. They're going to have the receiver back. They were missing a receiver in this Baltimore game, the best receiver.
Yeah.
Well, they got two awesome receivers. So Houston's going to be that one team that's going to challenge Jacksonville. Indy.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Tennessee, I don't think so. But Indy's got a good
Those are the two I hope.
In that division.
Yeah.
That's just going to be interesting. All right, let's hit it for a minute. I'm sorry about Buffalo. I can't believe they let Kelsey break out. We'd heard it when we watched it. We were driving back from Phoenix, so I was watching on my phone. She only got fits, and we were losing signal, so I was doing my best. But they let Kelsey score for the first time in 8 games. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what? The one guy, don't let him. These old man ankles.
That's what I was saying. They know that Kelsey is their weapon. Mm-hmm. So they have got to attack him because it puts Mahomes in a tight spot to have to pick anybody else but Kelsey. So the fact that the first time in 8 games, like you said, Trevor Lawrence, and he might be after this year. After this year, I could probably get on that same boat with you because he did not act like a good QB this year.
He didn't.
So I absolutely agree with that. But hopefully, next year he maybe pulls his head out of his butt and does a little bit better. But
it's going to be interesting. It really is. Like, I can't wait to find out like what's going to happen with. Oh my gosh.
But anyway, back to Kelsey. Yeah, they let him score, and unbelievable.
I'll pull all this
up. The Bills got so beat up.
Where's the other championship game? It's in Baltimore. We're going to put the weather on that one in a minute.
Yeah.
So we're going to do our picks, and we're getting a lot of fun comments. I just think Buffalo should have gotten this one. Like, I know they were injured, but it was in Buffalo. Like, beat this team once, man. I'm starting to wonder, like...
They have a horrible track record of going up against KC.
I like Josh Allen, but there was that play where he went for a 45-yard play, and he does this all the time, and he hit a guy right over the middle that he could have hit, and he could have gone for like 10.
And he missed him, and he was right in front of him.
And it's just like...
He almost got a little too greedy.
He did.
He got a little too greedy.
That's exactly what he did.
And tried to go for the touchdown instead of trying to get the yardage. Mm-hmm. He knew it was windy, and his kicker was struggling. So why wouldn't you try to go for the closest guy, get a little bit further ahead, get a new set of downs,
and just keep the drive going?
Yeah, instead he was just like, oh, here, I'll just throw and miss the throw.
Yeah. To me, I question, like, he can make plays. Allen's like Mahomes. He can make plays that nobody else can make. But for him, even more than Mahomes, he takes Stephon Diggs, who might get traded to Dallas with his brother. He had some bad plays in that game, he's right. But Allen's so talented, it's hard when you're like just a tiny notch below. But I wonder if he had I know we hate the Chiefs, but Andy Reid's an awesome coach. I think they need to get a better coach for Allen that can get him over that hump, because I think this guy's got it. That can coach him up and be like, hey, we need a first down here. And he'll still go out there and make whatever play he wants. But there was other little things in that game, I was watching Indy Reid. It's like a chess match. I do chess too. I don't think the viewers knows, but you got Mahomes and Allen. They're similar, okay? And then Mahomes is probably a little bit better. But the coaching scale, Reid, Buffalo coach, it's like such a discrepancy. Like they just got to get Allen something better. I would move on from McDermott. I know he's been to the playoffs a bunch, but with Allen, you're going to make the playoffs with me as the freaking head coach. So I think it's time to cut bait and not with Allen. Get him somebody else. Like they could have gone after Harbaugh. That would have been like if Buffalo had fired their head coach. I guarantee you Harbaugh. I know it's Buffalo weather versus LA, but he would have at least given a thought with this dude.
Maybe
I think he probably still would have gone to LA to be with Herbert, but just saying, I think so. So, any more thoughts on those 4 games? Like, what are the teams that lost? So we got these 4: Houston, Buffalo, Green Bay, Tampa. We kind of already talked it. Which one of these 4, or which it could be more than one? Which of these 4 teams do you think will be back or even better?
I'm hoping Houston. I know you want the Packers.
Oh, I think they're gonna be fine.
But I really want Houston. They did a great job.
Eric, hello. Can I get a shout out? Hey man, what's up? Thanks for joining. This is awesome. First time with, honestly, there's a couple firsts here. First time doing 2 people on screen like this, and first lady in white co-host. And I've been wanting to break that.
First lady of the FFP.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
But yeah, I have to go to Houston. I know you want the Packers, and I do too, because I think they looked really good this year. There's a few tweaks that they needed to do, but I think they looked really good this year compared to Rodgers' era.
Not throwing that up there. Not throwing that comment up there. That's somebody from Twitter. Not doing it. Because I think Buffalo's back to square one.
Yeah, they do. They do. They do have to go back to square one.
Yeah, I think they need to do some soul searching a little bit on that, especially.
I think they kind of got a little lost after what happened with Hamlin.
You know what's funny is they did, and they started the season so bad they were like, I don't know, 6-6, and then they won like their last 5 in a row, won the division, won that playoff game, and then blew this one, and so they were on.
I think they got kind of down after what happened with all that.
I think that too.
Really shook them as a team.
And I admire the coach for getting the team back together midseason. It was the opposite of Philly, so I kind of get it if they want to stick with him. But it's like, I don't know, with this guy who like is such a gunslinger and he's going to make awesome plays and terrible ones. You've got to figure out. They were the team that fired their offensive coordinator, and then they went heavy run.
Yeah.
And their receiver Diggs fell off, and then they had a bunch of injuries, so they still hung in there. But I don't know. I don't know how they're going to get over the hump and beat KC if they keep doing the same thing.
Yeah.
You can only run it back so many times, and then you got to change something.
Yeah.
You can't just fire a coordinator. You eventually got to.
Yeah.
They got to change some personnel around the quarterback or change the coach sooner or later. I'm gonna have to like. Well, no, those comments. That's only the ones I tap that go up there. So that's just for us.
Gotcha.
That's just for us. So.
I don't know how that works.
So if I tap it like this one right here, that's gonna pop up. That's how it works. That's how StreamYard works. So I promote the ones I want to throw because sometimes I get so many like I can't even keep up with them.
I'd be accidentally pushing like
that one. I agree with you. I think Green Bay is going to be better. I don't think Tampa is going to be better. I think we just talked about it. We don't know where Buffalo is going to go from here. I do think Houston with that quarterback and they had a stud defensive player too. I think they're going to be better.
Yeah, Houston looked good.
They have Will Anderson. He was a high pick. Stroud just gets better. They got to get a running back late in the season. If they got to fill an offensive
really
line.
Hard competitor too.
I love that coach.
Against Baltimore.
They did. But that coach had them fired up, and
he was fired up.
I like this quarterback. He's got some growing to do. He's made some mistakes. What
the?
I think he's the Chargers guy who was mad at me. I'm actually pretty sure of it. I just added him like an hour before this.
Yeah, hopefully
Eric.
I would hate to see him
go
out
too mad
after
about
that.
Stuff.
I would hope that he would come back and do
I hope so too.
better.
Okay, so I'm gonna obviously say I think Green Bay. Now that we're into it, and then we're gonna do our picks, and I think that's gonna be it. But we still got the 2 games to talk in Super Bowl. But I think Green Bay firing their defensive coordinator, which they needed to do,
They did.
even though I know he got him the Super Bowl or they got him the second round of the playoffs, and they were looking better.
Did not get him to the
No.
Super Bowl.
If they want to get to a Super Bowl, they've got to figure this out.
They do.
Because they did it with Rodgers, and I know we hate him, but they went out and got Woodson, who we saw. We actually saw that was the guy who we saw inducted
Yeah.
into the Hall of Fame that game.
Yeah.
But they traded a guy to Buffalo. Green Bay did, and everyone thought they were going to tank their season, and I was mad about it. Douglas, and he was awesome. And they've got to figure out this kicker. He was a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're going to want to cut bait because it's like, it's like you gave him 1 year. It's like, you know what I mean? Do you cut him? They brought in the kicker to give him competition already.
Yeah.
I don't know if this guy's for real, but I think it was a signal.
I hope it does kind of wake him up because he needs it. Because that.
Yeah. Give you plenty of. There you go.
Oh gosh.
I was thinking more of the book. All right, Jill. Sorry about that. Wait, they have a new kicker. Yes, they do.
Nope, it's not gonna stay.
Green Bay. It's okay. We'll just hold it.
Yeah, hold it.
Green Bay. Yeah, they went out and got a new kicker. So, all right, let's talk our last couple things. I do think Green Bay will be better.
Not exist, Becky.
There we go.
Let's not exist.
I got you. You're right there. I think Green Bay is going to be better.
I hope so.
I think it's going to be
for you.
They're up and down
and
this
all
year.
the Packers fans.
Who says this? I'm excited for the new Chargers coach, Jim Harbaugh. I agree. Green Bay's a new kicker, a rookie. But they signed a guy. I can't remember the dude's name. But they fired their strength and conditioning coach because they were so banged up this year.
You are so.
I'm terrible. You do it.
Terrible.
I'm bad at it. There we go. I'm with you. You can be it. There you go. Okay. All right. Let's talk. You ready to talk? So I'll say this. I think Green Bay will be better. I think they're going to be a challenger with Detroit next year. We'll see what happens with Philly. I don't think Dallas will be in there. I think Green Bay, Detroit will be the challengers to San Fran. Maybe the Rams. I don't think it's going to be Philly or Dallas. I just don't. I don't know where Philly's going to go from here. I think they've got problems on D. Maybe they figure it out.
They do. But
I think Green Bay.
I'm not too proud to admit that they do have problems.
They got problems. We're gonna see though. Maybe they'll figure it out. They'll sign somebody awesome on defense.
Yeah.
So they'll figure some stuff out. But Hurts is getting paid a bunch now, and the Packers got 1 more year of love on the sheet. So definitely Lions. Ooh, and the Bears. The Bears though they've got some stuff in the draft they're gonna be able to do. It's gonna be fun. All right, let's talk these games. Okay. I'm gonna let you pick. Do you want to do Baltimore, KC, or San Fran, Detroit? You want to do the easy one first?
I can't talk anything good about the Baltimore KC game.
So let's do it first.
It's got to go Baltimore.
I'm going Baltimore too. They're only 3.5 point favorites. I didn't tell you this yet. I just saw this earlier today. That tight end that they were missing, and they had I don't know if he's a rookie, but I think he's first or second year guy likely. Andrews is back, and they weren't the same without him. He might play. They activated him. I've heard he might play. And they've got a cornerback and a safety questionable. The Chiefs have their corner, who's one of the best in the league, questionable. Their running back, who I think will play,
and poor Kelsey,
and the linebacker.
It's just not doing good either.
Kelsey
keeps getting beat up.
He hasn't even been on the injury report, if you can believe it. It's like, what?
He keeps getting beat up, and I love it. I live for every minute of it.
It's so funny because we both like Taylor Swift, but we're like, no.
Yeah, but Taylor Swift is not the Chiefs.
So true.
Let's be honest. I mean,
Taylor Swift is not the Chiefs.
They take every chance they can to show her, but she is not the Chiefs.
So true. So true. We talk Taylor Swift and look at the numbers, Scott. It's like people heard us. The Swifties out there.
No.
Taylor Swift. Oh my gosh. Travis Kelce.
That should not be the reason you're watching the KC game.
Another Packers fan on Twitter. Hey man, what's up? We just talked Packers. I'm predicting 12-5 record next year. That's only a few games up.
Okay, now let's get into that San Fran Lions.
Okay, so we're both picking Baltimore. What's your score? What's your score pick? I think it's gonna be close. I think it'll be one score.
Unfortunately, I think it will be close.
I think it'll be 20. No, I'll go 28-24. Both defenses are good.
Scoring?
Let me pull up the weather, make sure before we finish the pick. So let's go weather. No, I think one team might even hit 30. Let's see. I think Lamar Jackson and Mahomes are both gonna have good games. Ravens game against Chiefs. I don't think weather's gonna be a huge factor here either. Yeah, NFL Conference Championships. Rain expected. in Baltimore. Ooh, so San Fran's gonna be perfect weather. And I hadn't even looked this up yet. I wanted to wait for the episode. Yeah, that game kicks off at 2. One's going to see perfect conditions, so the 49ers going to have perfect conditions. Where is it? Ooh, 84% chance of rain, but not snowy, 48 degrees, 11-mile-per-hour wind, so rain.
Okay. So that might throw Baltimore off a little bit.
That could favor KC.
It
if
could,
Pacheco's healthy.
unfortunately.
I'm going to drop my score a little bit. That always makes it sloppier.
Okay.
Think of like the Green Bay San Fran game. It was 27. It was 24-21. I'm thinking that's a good target. I'm going to go Baltimore 24-21. I do think Lamar as the Baltimore running back will help him. And if KC's running back, he's questionable, Pacheco, but he should play.
I'm going to go a little bit more because I have a little bit more faith
in
Baltimore. I think it could be 27.
I could see them destroying them, like by 14, but it's hard to pick that high. So
it is hard to pick that high, but dream big.
So we're both going. Okay, so we're both going Baltimore.
Baltimore for sure.
Baltimore, I like it. And then we're gonna after we'll talk to a couple coaching things and peel any last questions after this last pick, and then I'm gonna let her go play her awesome Dino game. And thank you for doing this with me, Ben. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Okay, tough one. I seriously don't know what to pick here. Let's pull up. I'm gonna pull up some stats. I don't even know, seriously. San Fran, Detroit. Injuries. Debo is questionable.
Yeah.
Their kicker is questionable.
Yeah.
San Fran's kicker.
Yeah.
Did he get hurt that game? Did he slip or something?
I don't remember. I think he.
I was so out of it. We were watching with friends and stuff, and
he might have slipped.
Interesting. I didn't even know about that. So, calf.
Calf, yeah.
Interesting. That's a good. I mean, that could actually. I mean, like if Detroit's as good as we think, that could matter.
Yeah.
And then, that's it.
Detroit doesn't Detroit have a lot questionable?
Yeah. So San Fran's just got Debo questionable in the kicker. Nobody else important. And then look at the Lions list. But these two aren't their best receivers, but they're questionable. Their center, that one hurts. Yeah. Backup tight end and Laporta, but Laporta should play. The biggest one is that center. That can matter.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody else looks good. Lucas, but he's not their best corner. The line is a little bit beat up. So it was 3.5 for Baltimore. It was way closer. It's 7 in this one. Like Green Bay was a 10, 9.5. So they've got a tiny bit more faith in Detroit. I think it just depends what San Fran team shows up. If San Fran plays their best, I think they beat them.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be nice. It's supposed to be nice.
Beautiful weather. Totally different than
what they just played.
So is Detroit going to travel and play great on the road?
Which they have been doing, haven't they?
Let me pull that.
I think they've been doing pretty good on the road.
That's what I thought. Detroit on the road this season was 6-3. San Fran was 5-3 at home. About the same.
Okay.
That's a game last only because San Fran had that 5. So pretty much identical.
Yeah.
That's tough. What's your heart saying? San Fran, isn't it? I know you like Detroit.
It's so tied because, like I said, Detroit really pulls my heartstrings because it's like, oh my gosh, they actually have a chance.
I know, right?
But so 49ers got so robbed.
So this one
last year with Purdy.
That's true.
And what happened with that?
Look at this. This always is interesting to me. So the percent of the bets, all the bets, almost 70% on San Fran. But people are putting huge money on Detroit.
Yeah, because
so those people that are betting are throwing
believes in them.
No, so not all people have faith, but the people that do are like thousands of dollars.
That's what I'm saying.
That's from BetMGM on Yahoo.
That's a hard one.
You want me to run through them so you can see? So points, Detroit's 5th, San Fran's 3rd. Super close.
Yeah.
Yards, 3rd and 2nd, almost identical. Passing, Detroit's higher than 30 by a yard. So it's like almost identical. Mm-hmm. Rushing, almost the same. Time possession, that's how long you hold the ball. Detroit's even better. Detroit's even better than San Fran.
Detroit hugs the ball a little bit.
Here's where it gets skewed, though. You go to defense. Detroit's 23rd. San Fran's 3rd.
Yeah.
Yards, not terrible. 19th, 8th. Passing.
Yeah, they get a little skewed on the.
But that's not amazing.
No.
We proved we didn't even play that great.
No.
But they're still hard to run the ball.
Mhm.
So is Goff going to win this game? Because he's going to have to.
Yeah.
Look at the rush D, though. Both teams. I think it's
Mhm.
going to come down to the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I think both run Ds are going to step up.
I hope so. I hope it's a good game. I hope it's not just like a blowout.
I'm going to say Detroit fights, but they lose by 7. I'm going to go 30-23. Good
So
weapon.
you think it should be a little bit higher scoring too?
I might even go. You know what? No, I'll go 31-24. Yeah. I'm going to go San Fran wins by field goal or touchdown by 7.
I feel that, but I feel
Um,
maybe I might go opposite.
You go Detroit?
I think I'm gonna go Lions.
All right.
I think I'm gonna flip
You
it.
know what? You know what? I've got family in Michigan.
And hope.
I'm going to flip my pick. I'm going to go
You
Lions.
can't be flippy. You can't be flippy.
All right, fine. I'll stick with
You
San
can't be
Fran.
flippy.
No, I got to pick with my head on this one. I would love to see the Lions in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I would love to see San Fran, who beat Green Bay, get there and pull this off and win the Super Bowl. They haven't won it. It's been longer for San Fran than Green Bay. They've gotten there twice and been right there. This is the 3rd straight conference championship, and they haven't gotten it home. As good as Shanahan is.
You even said, it's like, okay, if we're going to lose to 49ers,
win the Super Bowl.
Win the Super Bowl.
I said that to people on Twitter, and I meant it. I was like, go freaking win this, because that was so close. And I think Green Bay and San Fran are going to be there for years.
Yeah.
I really do. Talking Packers with Steve says respect that and agreed. Okay. So I'm picking Baltimore, San Fran. You're picking Baltimore, Detroit. Neither of us are picking Chiefs. Sorry, Chiefs. Maybe you guys.
But I'd be happy if either one, the 49ers or the Lions, winning. Okay. As long as Baltimore wins.
Lions win it all versus Ravens. Be a fun game to me. Oh yeah,
that would be a great game.
I almost just want to see Campbell in the Super Bowl. This coach, he's so much fun. All the press conferences, you take a chunk out of your leg. All that stuff he said, everyone was like, "What this guy?" And look at him. He's got the Lions, a game from the Super Bowl. I love this. Seriously,
it's awesome.
Okay, I got a few more things, and then I'm gonna let people any questions they have for either of us. Okay.
Yay! No to Chiefs. I agree.
I agree. I agree. He says facts before that. Okay. And thanks for everybody for hanging. It's only me a little bit short of a show. Okay, we got to talk Belichick. How does Atlanta pass on him? Did they just have no faith? What do you think?
That's a tough call to make.
It's tough.
It didn't make sense.
I just don't get why they went to a guy. So they had him as their interim coach either in 2020 or 2021. And he was 4-7. Not saying, but if it didn't work once, like the Raiders fired their coach, and then the guy he did well with them. And it hardly ever, teams that promote that interim keep the coach, and it almost never works. Yeah. But they decided to hire him because he did so well and the team loved him. We watched that game, remember on Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Where the Raiders beat up on the Chiefs for Christmas? For
sure.
So I hate to use that as an indictment because it's hard to go in as a coach. It doesn't always work. You don't always there's not always a spark. Sometimes the team's just bad. So I don't want to indict the guy for that. I guess maybe they just thought Belichick was too old. I think that must have played in.
Maybe.
He was past his coaching plan. Because I feel like Belichick 5 years ago.
Look at Big Red still pulling wins out,
True.
So you can't necessarily say he's old, so he's past his prime. You can't necessarily say that.
I just wonder if he's seen the game the same way. He got them. Belichick had them playing good at the end of the season. I feel like the problem is, though, he's like Jerry. They had an owner in New England, but he was the GM, so he was making all the player decisions where no other coach in the NFL does that.
Yeah.
And I think Belichick, the GM, is what failed Belichick, the coach.
Maybe.
Because it's like Jerry undermines the Cowboys, and Belichick won 6 rings over there with, Brady, which I think was huge. But he also did figure out the defense and the rest of the team and knew how to do it. Post Brady has been able to get it done. Yeah. So I'm wondering if people were wondering if this was more Brady and if they wanted to, I don't know. I'm wondering if they really thought Belichick still had it.
I don't know. That's hard to say.
Because he interviewed twice there. Mm-hmm. And then they were like, no.
No. Yeah.
That was strange. And there's only 2 jobs left. There's Washington and Seattle. Unless some other ones come open. Philly's apparently not moving on. Dallas isn't. I think that's it.
Yeah.
There's 2 jobs left, and there's that guy from Tennessee that I want the Packers to go get. Or this would never happen. But what if the Packers had Belichick as the defensive coordinator? He won't do it. Though.
I don't think he would ever do that.
He's too proud.
I don't think he would ever do that.
He's too proud.
That's wishing.
No, he hasn't been hired. Belichick hasn't been hired. So
which is crazy.
Oh, I think it means San Fran. I meant the Chargers. I know you had strong feelings on this. What do you think about Harbaugh? And I'm sorry to Twitter, all the Herbert lovers. I think Harbaugh is going to be very good for him.
Yeah.
Very good.
I think he was a great coach, despite his
the cheating.
Cheating. That there's no excuses for that. That was
no, but he won a championship.
He deserved what he got for that. He probably should have gotten a little bit harder of a punishment, but he did get Michigan their win.
It's never gonna happen
after they got robbed to TCU.
Oh my gosh! And then TCU just fell off the face of planet Earth after that championship
game.
And this year, they're
sorry to talk about college for a second.
Sorry, all the TCU fans in Fort Worth.
Yeah, but sorry to talk about college for a second. But let's just talk about that because Michigan got robbed of that game because TCU was getting so many.
I bet we'd get so many people in here would be loving that we're talking college.
So many calls in their favor against Michigan for no reason. Mm-hmm. They took away a touchdown that was clearly a touchdown.
2, remember?
Yes.
There was 2 outside the end zone.
Well, one especially. The one was really bad. That one, there was no doubt. And I mean, even the people who were calling the game, they were like, what? This isn't a touchdown? Are you kidding me? Like they even were sitting there.
He fell in the end zone.
Yeah, they're like
what part of his body wasn't in the end zone? His little pinky toe.
They were stunned.
His toe outside the end zone, and here's the end zone. His pinky was outside.
What do you want to? It was horrible. But so rigged. To come back after that's
rigged. People talk about the NFL being rigged. That was rigged.
To come back after that, do a great job, get them in. And win.
And the cool thing is, he'd been so close in college. Mm-hmm. He's getting closer, and he got to a Super Bowl with the 49ers, almost won it, finally got his championship.
Yeah.
He just pick of the litter from
so I think if he can do that with the Chargers and really get them as a cohesive team and get them on the charts, I think he'd be the man to do it.
They got some talent, too. It's going to be interesting. It probably won't be an overnight thing, but this guy's got super arm talent at quarterback. They've got a good receiver. They've got a high draft pick. I think that they're going to be now with this guy because he just manages to turn teams around. He did this with the 49ers. It took him a little longer with Michigan, but he did it with Stanford. Mm-hmm. I wonder how long it's going to take, but I think they're going to be a force.
I hope so. I hope that he can do
I don't think it's going to be Denver. That's for sure. The same division. Really quick. Let me throw up the teams. I want to do something fun, and then we'll hop off, okay? We'll answer any more questions. Anybody's any questions, now is the time for me or for my lovely wife, Lynn. And I'm going to say something else about my aunt. What team out of those that didn't make it in the AFC do you think will rise next year? They'll have Burrow back.
I got to go Cincy.
They'll have Lawrence and everybody healthy.
If Lawrence...
they'll have Aaron Rodgers.
I don't remember. Okay. That's going to do them many favors. That might actually work against them to have Rodgers back. Okay. I am a Bengals lover. So I have to hope that maybe if we can protect Burrow and get a little bit better, that we get...
So the running back, I don't know if it's this year, but it's next year for Chase, and Higgins is a free agent. So they're going to lose unless I don't know how they're going to find the money because Burrow got a super high deal. How are they going to keep the running back in both those receivers? They might have to replace somebody in the draft.
Yeah.
And they'll get a decent draft pick. It's like I don't know, I have to look. I think it's like 14. So
the Raiders have potential also.
They do too if they get a quarterback.
Because I like scary towards the end.
I like this coach. He had them playing fierce.
Yeah.
His name was Fierce, ironically.
I don't remember who made the comment about the Jacksonville quarterback being spent and then done.
Oh, it was NFL updated.
Yeah.
Rodgers is done.
For sure.
Oh, they must be able to see comments that we can't see. They must be able to see the comments on whatever they're on. So maybe those comments are like on Twitter. People could see them. I'd throw them up though. Okay, so you're saying Cincy. I'm going to agree with you. Yeah, I think of all the teams, but I agree with you.
The Raiders.
Not just to agree, I think the Raiders are going to be tough. And I do think
the Colts came out of nowhere too.
Look at them with Harbaugh. Look at that record. Mm-hmm. That's going to be a few wins better, minimum.
I wouldn't be surprised if it flipped. If it went from a 5-12 to a 12-5.
If it does, I'm going to bring her back on. She's going to be like, Harbaugh's that good. he's gonna get this done.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do the NFC. Definitely gonna be the Patriots. See who they hired? They hired a linebacker.
Yeah.
Oh, first year coach following up Belichick.
Yeah. I don't know.
Tough.
Maybe.
Do you have a defense? You play defense. All right, here. And then I got one more thing I want to throw at you, and then we'll be done. What team here that didn't make the playoffs in the NFC? So her options are Seattle, New Orleans, Minnesota, Chicago, Atlanta, Giants, Washington, Arizona, Carolina. Which one of those do you think will rise? It's tough, isn't it? I think
I can't go. You know, the Falcons did a pretty good job this year. They did a pretty good job. They were scary in some games.
if they get a quarterback,
Yeah, that's
I
what's
think
really
the
putting them down.
Bears-
The Bears came out of nowhere too.
I don't know what they're going to do with Fields. That's going to be a huge
The
thing.
Saints too played,
Well, that's the thing. I'm like, is Tampa going to win
and
the
I'm
division?
partial to the Seahawks.
Because like I don't know
I
how
thought the
either of these are going to
Seahawks-
fall. Are they going to fall into the playoffs? Dallas or Philly? Probably not.
I thought the Seahawks were gonna follow behind Detroit. I really did. I thought they were gonna get there. They just didn't. But I thought they could.
The problem is they're going to be better, and the Rams might be better. So who's going to climb
Yeah.
if these two teams are better? Like Philly and Tampa.
That's what
might
I'm
fall
worried.
off.
That might be the hard one next year.
The NFC could be the tough
Could
conference.
be the hardest.
If Green Bay gets better like we expect in the AFC, we know Houston's probably going to get better.
Mhm.
But unless injuries happen, if Green Bay and Houston get better, if Green Bay gets better and the Rams get better, who's going to climb and get in?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's hard.
Let's do the opposite, and we'll do the other one, then we'll be done. Who do you think in the NFC of these seven? San Fran, Dallas, Detroit, Tampa, Philly, the Rams, or Green Bay? Who's going to fall out of the playoffs next year? Who's going to fall?
I gotta go Bucks
Yeah, me too, unfortunately. Or Philly.
or Dallas.
It's hard to say they're going to miss it the playoffs, but
You can
man,
hope.
wouldn't that be
You can
fun?
hope. You can hope that they just
Let's
absolutely
lose.
in his last year, in Dak's last year, and the coach's last year. You can just hope they just disappear and just trickle. But I don't think that'll happen
I agree.
because you have Lamb, which is an absolute weapon.
You got Bland, you got Parsons. How are they going to not make the
Parsons.
playoffs? Like they'd have to fall apart.
How-
Like 9-8. Like
he would just have to lob the ball and just
San Fran.
he would have to do what he did in his Lamb would have to do what he did in his last game. It's just
basically use the ball. Oops,
Yeah.
I can't catch.
yeah, I have butterfingers all of a sudden for no reason. He would have to do that all season. I just don't see that happening. As much as that's a wish, I don't think that'll happen.
Right.
So maybe the Bucks. I don't know. Baker Mayfield could do it. So that's
They're
hard
going
to
to be interesting
say.
because they're going to have a bunch of free agents too.
That's hard to say
What
right
about-
now.
I'm thinking in the AFC, I'm very worried about
Miami.
all three of those.
Yeah.
I think Pittsburgh will figure
the
it out.
Steelers, yeah.
They're going to have to get a quarterback because they don't have one. But so is Cleveland, unless Watson figures it out. And I don't really like Tua. I think all three of these teams should be on alert.
Yeah.
I think these four are going to be really tough to beat.
Yeah.
I think any of these three, like you could see Cincy, Jacksonville, and the Raiders take all three of those wildcard spots.
I could agree with that.
Like I know Cleveland's got a D, and Pittsburgh's got. The problem is they've got such a great coach; they're going to be tough. But I wouldn't be surprised if they're like 9-8 next year and lose it. And Miami, they can't beat anybody good. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Their coach is really arrogant as well.
Yeah, he is. He's funny, but yeah, he's entertaining. Anything else?
No.
This is. I don't think I'll make her tear up, but I probably wouldn't have gotten through the episode without you, and I had a blast. I ended up having fun. Thank you.
We
Means
do
a lot.
this all the time.
No, it
We
means a
go
lot.
back and forth.
Bill had a family thing, and I think she knew how much this meant to me to do this in honor of my aunt. So, thank you. It means a lot. You did a lot last week, but thank you. I was hoping not to tear up the whole time, but this one's for Julie. Thanks, guys. Be back soon.